This is the homework for 8th grade on the multi-step equations. We did a lot of this in class already, but I'm going to go through and do all the odd numbers for you real quick, just in case anybody needs some extra work, or extra help on it, not extra work. The first, I believe 1 through 8 are actually all two-step equations. So on this very first one, just like always, we draw our line that goes down the middle. Start on the variable side, number without the variable. So to get rid of that plus 9, I'm going to do minus 9. Minus 9 over here, minus 9 over here. These two will now cancel out, and I'm done with it. On the left side, I've got negative 6 minus 9, and I have negative 15. On the right side, I'm left with 5b. This just comes straight down because I have done nothing with it. Next step, I just have a one-step equation. So I've got to get b completely by itself, so I divide both sides by 5. These two cancel out, and negative 15 divided by 5 is going to be negative 3. It's going to equal b. For number 3, just another two-step. Draw the line going down the middle, and we want to get everything away from the variable. So I've got to take care of this 3 first. So I'm going to do subtract 3 on both sides, because what I do to one side I have to do to the other. These two will cancel out, and I'm done with it. Negative 53 minus 3 is going to be negative 56. And I'm left with the 8n on the right side. To finish this one up, we've got multiplication on the right side, so I'm going to divide both sides by 8. These two cancel, and I'm now left with n on the right side, and negative 56 divided by 8 is going to be negative 7. On to number 5, another two-step. Draw the line down the middle. I've got to get everything away from the variable. I've got to start with addition or subtraction. So I'm going to get rid of that plus 10 by doing minus 10 on both sides. The two 10s on the right side cancel out. I'm done with it. Negative 71 minus 10 is going to be negative 81. I have 9n left on the right side. That's multiplication, so I'm going to undo the multiplication by dividing 9 on both sides to have that variable completely alone. Those two cancel. Left with n on the right, and negative 81 divided by 9 is going to be negative 9. On to number 7. Just like always, draw the line, separate the two sides. I've got to get everything away from the variable, so I start with addition or subtraction. So I want to get rid of this 4. Looking to the left, there's no plus or minus there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 4 because that is the opposite. So minus 4 there, minus 4 over there. 4 minus 4 is 0. I'm done with it. So I'm going to have 6p left on the right side. I'm sorry, on the left side. And 112 minus 4 is going to be 108. I have multiplication on the left. So I'm going to undo this by dividing both sides by 6. These two cancel. I'm left with p on the left, and 108 divided by 6 is going to be 18. And number 9, this is our first multi-step one. I believe we did this in class, but I'm going to go over it anyways, because like I said, I'm going to do all the odds. Draw the line down the middle. For multi-steps, when you have a variable on both sides, I want you guys to move the smaller variable first. So between negative 6x and negative 5x, negative 6 is the smaller one. So to move that, I'm going to add 6x. Make sure that you keep the x's lined up, because if you don't, it's going to be too easy to add the wrong things together. These two now cancel out. Completely done with that. I bring my 6 down. I'm going to bring my 1 down. And now negative 5 plus 6 is positive 1. I could write positive 1x, but I'm going to write just plus x. Now I'm down to one more step on this thing. Separate these sides real quick. I want to move that 1, so I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. These two go to nothing, and 6 minus 1 is going to be 5 equals x. Number 11. Another multi-step. Draw the line going down the middle. Between negative 5n and negative 4n, the negative 5 is smaller, so I'm going to add 5n to both sides. The 5n's will cancel out and go to 0. I'm going to bring that 2 down, so I have negative 2 equals, I'm going to bring my 1 down, and just like before, negative 4 plus 5 is a positive 1n. I'm just going to write plus n. I've got to still move that 1 because I got to get it away from everything else, so I'm going to subtract 1, subtract 1. Negative 2 minus 1 is going to be negative 3 equals, and over here these two cancel and I'm left with just n. Now onto the back side. Number 13, draw my line. Between 6p and p, or just 1p, p by itself is the smaller number. So I want to move that. Minus p on both sides because I'm keeping this balanced. These will cancel out. And now on the right side, I'm going to bring this straight down. So I have negative 6. 6p, if I take away 1, is going to be 5p. And I have my 9 plus that. All I've done is bring these straight down. This is now a two-step equation. So I'm going to take away the 9 on both sides because I'm trying to get everything away from the variable. These will cancel. I'm left with 5p because that just comes straight down. And negative 6 minus 9 is going to be negative 15. Final step. This is multiplication, so I have to undo it with division. So I'm going to divide both sides by whatever is with the variable. These two cancel. I'm left with p on the left side, and negative 15 divided by 5 is going to be negative 3. Moving on to the next one. I know we talked about this one some in class. When we've got that and that, the negative 6r and the positive 6r, these two are automatically canceling each other out. Those are already gone. And having nothing over there is the same thing as having 0. So I've got my equal sign over here, and then I've got my 6 minus 2r. A bunch of different ways to do this, but how I'm going to keep going on this one is I'm going to subtract 6 because I want it away from the variable. 0 minus 6 is going to be negative 6 equals my negative 2r. Final step is going to be to divide both sides by negative 2. I'm going to do negative 6 divided by 2. That's going to be a positive 3 equals, and these two cancel, so I'm left with just r on that side. For number 17, yet another multi-step equation. So I'm going to draw my line down the middle. Between negative 6n and negative 2n, negative 6n is the smaller one. So I'm going to add 6n to both sides. These two will cancel out, and I'm done with it. I'm going to bring my 1 down, so I have 1 equals negative 7, and negative 2n plus 6n, you can check these in your calculator if you are not sure, is going to be positive 4n. I still want to get everything away from that variable, so I'm going to add 7 on both sides. These two will cancel out. 1 plus 7 is going to be 8. And then 4n on the right side. And then final step, that's multiplication right there, so we're going to divide both sides by 4. These two will cancel. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And that is our value of n. For number 19, line down the middle, like always. Between x and negative x. Negative x is the smaller one. So to get rid of it, I'm going to add x, or 1x, or however else you want to phrase it. The two x's on the right will cancel out. I have x plus x, so I have 2 x's. Bring my minus 5 down. And then I'm left with negative 11. Now it's just a two-step. I want to get everything away from that variable, so I'm going to add 5 on both sides. These two will cancel out. I have 2x. Let me draw my line real quick. And then negative 11 plus 5 is going to be negative 6. Final step is going to be to divide both sides by 2 to get everything away from that variable. So this side divided by 2 and this side divided by 2. These will cancel out. X is left on the left, and negative 6 divided by 2 is going to be negative 3. On to number 21. I'm going to draw my line going down the middle. Between 4n and n is obviously the smaller one, so I'm going to subtract n here. I'm going to subtract n here. The two n's on the right side are going to cancel out. And on the left side, I'm left with my negative 12. Plus, I have 4n and I'm taking away an n. I have 3n here. And then I'm left with 6 on the right side. Separate these out. Still want to get everything away from the variable. So I'm going to add 12 on both sides. These two cancel out. I'm done with it. I'm left with just 3n equals 6 plus 12 is going to be 18. That's multiplication right there, so my final step is to divide. I divide this side by 3, and I divide this side by 3. And it's going to be equal to 6. Number 23, line going down the middle between negative 5k and negative 6k. Negative 6k is the smaller one, so I'm going to add 6k on both sides. The k's on the right side are going to cancel out. And now I'm left with my negative 6 here. Negative 5k plus 6k is going to be just 1k, but I'm going to have just k right there instead. And I'm left with negative 3 on the right side. I still want the variable by itself, so I'm going to add 6 on both sides to get it away from the variable. These two will cancel, and I'm left with k equals negative 3 plus 6 is going to be positive 3. And on to the last one. Number 25. Draw the line. Between negative 4n and negative 2n, negative 4n is the positive, is the smaller. So I'm going to do plus 4n, plus 4n. These two cancel out and I'm done. I have negative 3 here now, equals 1, and negative 2 plus 4 is going to be positive 2. So plus 2n. Now it's just a two-step. I want to get everything away from the variable, so I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. These will cancel out and I'm done with it. Negative 3 minus 1 is going to be negative 4, and 2n on the right. Final step. That's multiplication, so I want the variable by itself, so I divide both sides by that 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is going to be negative 2, and we're left with n on the right side. Hope that was helpful, guys. Please come into tutorials if you have any other questions on this.